Greetings. My name is leqdership and I am the National Youth Chairperson of ActionSA. I'm here with my colleagues today. We've got Samkelo, who is our National Communications Director. We've got Alistair, who is our Head of Legal. We've got Matthew George, who is our Western Cape Youth Student Chairperson. And we've got our Head of Students, Thabo Malosi. It is unfortunate that we are having this meeting today under these unfortunate circumstances. As you know, ActionSA will be launching legal regarding the direct payment, which is an allowance system. And to bring you into speed and detail, I will pass it on to my colleague, Matthew.
Good day, everyone. Today, ActionSA has announced the legal measures that we intend to take to challenge the awarding of the NSFAS direct payment of allowance contract. Specifically, we are to take the matter to the High Court to declare the decision to outsource the disbursement of student allowances manifestly irrational in the first place. Also, we will be asking the High Court to set aside the awarding of the contract itself, as it is evident that the service providers are ill-equipped to do the job. We firmly believe that it is in the interest of the taxpayer and students that we embark upon this unprecedented legal action. Our main focus is to prevent NSFAS from becoming a feeding trough for unscrupulous tenderpreneurs whose greed undermines the well-being of students. We have identified several key areas of concern that informs our challenge, and the first being that beyond our intention to challenge the blatant dubious nature of the contract, we aim to address the immediate burden placed upon students who bear the cost of this fraud through excessive fee structures. The NSFAS bank accounts provided by 4 service providers who are rather inexperienced offer significantly more expensive solutions than those offered by 4 of the largest commercial banks in the country, all of whom were unsuccessful bidders. Additionally, we have received multiple submissions through our NSFAS database, which indicates that the transaction fees charged to student accounts exceed what can be considered reasonable, in addition to the account fee already debited, adding to the financial strain that students are facing. Secondly, in recognizing the impact on nearly 1 million students affected by this rushed and flawed migration to the new system, it is widely agreed that NSFAS neglected to conduct thorough consultations. This deprived key stakeholders of the opportunity to provide valuable inputs that could have aided in creating a clear migration roadmap. As a result, there is widespread confusion among students and university administrators alike. In fact, it is our view that the extent of consultations held is akin to an after-the-fact exercise, merely checking a box as evidenced by the last-minute information sessions held by NSFAS representatives just mere days before the implementation, where they failed to address even the most basic of questions. Thirdly, the functionality of the onboarding and registration portals has been disorganized and problematic to say the least. Students face difficulties in updating their contact details and often do not receive the required one-time password for account registrations. Site crashes and rejections of identity documentation have also been reported, with one service provider acknowledging that this issue arose from NSFAS not providing correct student details. Delays in receiving allowances have been a significant issue, and students struggle to reach their respective service providers or NSFAS for the required assistance. A submitted complaint included evidence of a desperate student spending a cumulative total of 2 hours and 43 minutes on the phone attempting to reach NSFAS for a response regarding overdue allowance disbursement. The overall consequences of these concerns and challenges is that many students have not received their full allowances for more than 2 weeks at this point in time due to the flawed onboarding and migration and registration process, causing inconvenience and, more significantly in our view, hardship for those who solely depend on the timely access to their allowances. It is clear that neither NSFAS nor the 4 appointed service providers have the capacity to implement this migration. In light of these pressing issues, it is crucial to emphasize that our intervention is the recognition that the politics of protests necessitates a shift, rather significant, in methodology. We believe in adopting a more pragmatic, proactive, and sustainable course of action that ensures the effectiveness of our efforts while considering both the intended and unintended consequences. ActionSA upholds the principle that to truly serve the interests of our constituents, we must delve deep to unearth the root causes of our problems, unveiling the hidden currents that fuels much of the frustration. With regard to this particular issue at hand, it is this understanding that informs our commitment to challenge the glaring lapses within our higher education system, which have been a recurring source of unrest across institutions and have negatively impacted both access and the quality of teaching and learning. Therefore, we are confident that the steps we are about to announce will serve as a framework for informed and methodical action, empowering our collective fight as young people. We are resolute in holding accountable those who compromise the interests of students and young people as a whole. We want to make it quite clear that we are here, dedicated, and will not hesitate as ActionSA to challenge maladministration and corruption. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to OUTA, the organization undoing tax abuse, for shedding a light on this matter. The investigation has revealed the questionable awarding of the contract and the unwavering commitment to drawing serious attention to this issue, which relates to the clear abuse of taxpayer funds, serves as a foundation for intervention. I thank you.
All right. Thank you, Matthew. I would like to pass it on to our head of students, Mr. and Councillor Thabo Malosi, to share a few of his thoughts. Okay.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Well, we were very proud that finally the students in South Africa, at least they have now someone to take their issues seriously. Because we don't understand how even this tender actually was awarded when we have young members of parliament from the ANC, from the EFF. But I think it's that time now where South Africa need to stand up. For the past 10 years, plainly might have done nothing to really help young people in student of higher learning. So we're taking them to High Court, and we're very confident that we're going to win this case, and our students are going to benefit, and no one can continue to abuse students of South Africa in the existence of ActionSA. And we want to call all young people in South Africa to shut down our campuses. It's not a solution. They must not be misled by SASCO or EFF Student Command, whom they themselves are in parliament. They should have fought and stopped this thing from happening. So we are calling for a peace on campuses. We're saying our students must focus, and ActionSA is going to take this fight head on with Blaine Zimande and his friends. I can tell you, you can see that there are companies, your Nedbank, all these big financial entities who were also bidding for this thing. But then the contract is awarded to a company that doesn't exist. Immediately after they were awarded the contract, it's then now we see that these guys, they even have a website, which was not there before. So this is corruption. It's just the corruption. What Blaine Zimande is doing, using NSFAS as his cash cow to make money with his friends, and use this money again to go and campaign next year for ANC. So we're not going to allow it to happen. Very confident we're going to defeat Blaine Zimande, and we'll also be staging a serious protest to Union Building to Cyril Ramaphosa to fire Blaine Zimande. So we'll be inviting all young people in South Africa to be part of that protest, to fight youth unemployment in South Africa, and also to make sure that we really have a quality education in South Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor. Before we take any questions from the media, I would like to invite our head of legal, Mr. Alistair Shaw, to inform everyone watching this media release the process or the procedure of how we are going to take these steps moving forward, especially starting today, I hope. Right? It's urgency, isn't it? All right.
Thanks very much, Lupi. Yeah, so by way of the legalities, what we will be doing going forward is that we will be preparing an application to the High Court to judicially review two things. We will be seeking to have the tender award set aside and deemed to be unlawful and invalid. And then secondly, we'll be seeking to have the actual decision to outsource the process of payments to a third party deemed as irrational itself. So we will have one legal application whereby we'll be asking the court for two separate relief, and yeah, that's the process going forward. Yeah, those are the.
Okay. Yes, of course. Are there any questions? Aren't we blessed? Well, it appears we're truly blessed. If the media does not have any questions, then it's a good thing, I hope. It means that we were very transparent. All right. Yes. Okay.
Recover the lost time for their studies.
All right, I'll pass this on to a student at TET.
Thank you, sir. No, we were on the ground. We have engaged with student leaders from Tshwane University of Technology, especially when we saw the protest starting on campus. We had to go on the ground and meet and engage with our students to make them aware who's the problem. Because shutting down campus doesn't help. It will never resolve problem. So as we speak, this week, because we met last week with the student leaders from Tshwane University of Technology, we came into agreement that we don't have to shut down any campus any furthermore, so that we can allow all students to come back. But really students, they're frustrated. Some students, I mean, they were funded. Now they're no longer funded because of this migration to this new direct payment system of paying demand. But I can assure you that now there's peace on campus, and students are very behind ActionSA. They will be with us in the streets, because we're going to protest, but not on campus, because we don't believe that this is a campus-based issue. It's a national issue that must be dealt with the office of the president and his cabinet. So, but of course, we don't have, we can't prevent protests that are happening, not only at TUT. I think I've seen happening in Limpopo, I've seen some. We also reached out to the leadership that side. The intentions also is to go and march to NSFAS, DHEAD. But for us as ActionSA student chapter is that marching, I don't think really bring any solution. You ought to take such matters to court so that we can be able to expose this government. And funny enough, it's the very same student leaders that belong to ANC, which they have their leaders in parliament, and most of them, they entered in parliament through the ticket of fees must fall. But now they're in parliament. I think comrades now, they're just relaxed, enjoying the benefits of being members of parliament. But the situation is different, I can guarantee you, my brother, with ActionSA in board now. We're going to fight it, and we'll make sure every time we see any protest, we'll engage with students so that we can explain to them and make them to understand that as much as they are protesting, I think they're denying themselves an opportunity to further their studies. But I can assure you that we are heading in a different direction. You'll see SASCO, EFF, of course, trying maybe to impress their leaders, but they see to these guys. So we can't allow that situation anymore. So our students are beginning to see the light, because they've been misled for many years by the very same organization that belong to ANC. They meet with the blade and all that. For them to complain, it doesn't make sense to us. So I think we are going to win this, and we'll make sure that no one is prevented to continue their studies on their campus. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for joining us. In closing, from me as the youth chairperson of ActionSA, I would like to add that it is important to make decisions which involve the youth and students in consultation with the youth and students. We will not, under any circumstance, be directed without being consulted. We want to be consulted as the youth. We want to be consulted as students. If matters involve us, speak to us. Let us get at the table, sit, discuss. Let us ensure that each and every person involved and affected in these matters, their voices are heard. You cannot just come up to students and say, this is the directive, go with it. It's not going to work like that. We are not cows, we are not sheep, we do not follow. I believe that the youth of this country are the ones who are going to ensure that South Africa becomes a progressive nation. And for us to do that, we need to have full confidence in the youth and the students in this regard. Thank you.